There's a troubling irony in our democracy that we've somehow normalized. There's the fact that the people who aspire to manage our tax revenues are often the least tax compliant. Today, if you want to renew your vehicle license, your business registration, or qualify for certain services, the first question you're asked is, have you paid your tax? But if you want to be governor, a senator, or even the president, the bar is lower. Payment of tax is not a requirement for eligibility to contest elections under our Constitution and the Electoral Act. All that is needed is a tax clearance certificate at the screening level, which can be obtained by paying the minimum tax in any state. Meaning, just like you shop for groceries, you can shop for a tax clearance certificate at Pokulowo. Meanwhile, ordinary Nigerians, salary earners, and small business owners are paying more in taxes than the politicians who spend billions to get elected. Something is fundamentally broken. This administration has taken bold steps, plugging the loopholes companies exploited between capital gains tax and the CIT, expanding the tax net to include high-income earners, and reforming VAT administration to increase state revenue. If these reforms are robust enough for the private sector, why should the political class get a free pass? The National Assembly is currently amending the Electoral Act with promising reforms like the electronic transmission of results, early voting for election workers, and vote for those in correctional facilities. Very good amendment, but we must go further. Let us introduce a mandatory requirement for politicians to publicly declare their tax returns before they seek public office. Not sworn affidavits of compliance, but actual tax returns for Nigerians to assess. Why public? Because transparency is a disinfectant. Knowing your tax record to be under public scrutiny is a powerful deterrent against tax evasion, which carries with it criminal penalties. You cannot ask leaders who don't contribute to the taxpayer's purse to administer the revenue from those who do. That's not democracy. It's an anomaly. One amendment can change that. If we must pay the price of citizenship, then those who lead us must pay their fair share. Allow me to go to Ladi first on this. Because you have been in government, I can say that among all of us here, you're probably the closest to a politician. So, what's your take?
Well, first of all, while you're in government, or for the period I was in government, your tax is taken at source. So they pay. Okay? So that's the first thing. But beyond that, on
that's when you are in government. I'm not talking about when you're in government. The idea here is the qualification
you put
for
government into it now.
Okay, fine. All right.
Or I would have been talking generically. All right. So, so while I was in government, I paid taxes.
Okay.
So there's very little to disagree with what you've said, even from a moral standpoint. Why would you want to administer other people's taxes when you're not paying taxes? No, there's very little to disagree with. I believe that oftentimes decision makers in the political space should actually lead by example. We see that more the opposite being more the case than the real one. For example, you're driving a 20-man convoy, which is all government funded, and you're not even paying the toll that everybody else is paying. That doesn't even make any sense. Do you understand? We see a lot of that. So, of course, we should put that, we should challenge the people in the north. We should speak truth to power. But at the same time, it's a lot deeper than that. Amongst the other examples we've given here, it's very cultural. You know, it's very cultural because our political and religious and traditional leaders will get away with what we allow them to get away with. So I think your advocacy is on point, and I think that every right-thinking citizen will support the fact that those who administer our public space must, first of all, you know, hold themselves accountable.
With the new tax administration effective January, I don't think anyone will be left inadequately captured in the tax bracket.
Yeah.
But I would also like to point out that there is no country where public officers only are required to present their tax returns. But there are countries where tax returns are public and anybody can access it, where the tax the tax return owner will be notified that this person checked for tax returns. In America, though, their president, they've had they've voluntarily shared their tax returns.
It's a tradition. Yeah.
It's a tradition. Till recently, yeah. That, you know, the man who will not be mentioning, you know, kind of like said, I'm not participating in all of this. I think if we are advocating for public tax tax returns, we should do it across board. It should not just be limited to public office holders. But I also like to say I don't want my village people to know my net worth, I beg. You know, so I don't think I'm also...
Well, you're not running for office, so why do I care about
I'm saying we can't just
returns?
advocate for public offices only.
But they are going to be the ones administering public funds. So why shouldn't we put a little bit more searchlight on them?
As far as the required authorities can access their tax return.
We are all required authorities.
You see, this is our new tax. It's January, Abi. Okay.
Winter is coming.
I keep saying that
all the money you can
those in the chamber, let me not say more than that, you know what I'm talking about, they do not completely understand this tax law the way most of us don't. And that is why they have not kicked against it. Because if this is implemented the way it is supposed to be implemented, okay. I'm waiting for January.
I also be paying tax for the first time in her life.
I mean...
no, of course I've been paying tax. If it's that one, I have been paying... Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's fine.
I've been paying tax. And you know the interesting thing? People like me, it's not even my headache. Because it's the company that I work for. That is... just that the tax they will now pay on top of my salary, it will be bigger, right? It is not necessarily my headache. The people that I worry about are actually the informal sector that we talked about in the previous advocacy. Because at the moment, a lot is happening to tell people, okay, this is what it means. I think that there are some initiatives from even the government to explain it. But I think that the most important people to explain to are not being captured yet. Because your plumber, your carpenter, they're collecting money from they don't even know how to say this is my business account.
They're doing it through people's accounts now.
So you call a plumber and says there is a problem, and he tells you, oh, everything, including the equipment he's going to buy. I mean, I'm just using hypothetical speaking now, and tells you it's 1 million, but his workmanship there is what? Maybe 100,000 naira.
Yeah.
All that money is going into his account. And the conversation is that once you have 5 million transaction in your account, it will be flagged, right? There is a lot that is going to happen from January. That is, if this is going to be implemented the way it is supposed to be implemented, those people will be in a lot of trouble, because you realize that 5 million passes through their accounts in a month. Because if they have such jobs, 2, 3, 4 in a month, what is 5 million naira with this economy that we are in?
Materials,
so
all of that.
I think that those people we need to have an initiative.
There needs to be more education and sensitization about how they want to work it.
How to create an account, how to create a small business, how to keep your book. They need it. Those are the people I'm worried about. Me, I even have my tax certificate from how many years ago. It's not my problem, to be honest.
I'm more worried about the people who would not just implement this tax law, but who would make sure that the people the people in control of this finance use the money for the development of Nigeria. And anybody that is caught, because for me, for you to create something, it's a fantastic idea, first of all. The new tax law is great, right? But at the end of the day, if we have a system that do not hold people accountable for corruption, then what's the point? It's like you're taking more from the poor now, and you are enriching the rich, making the rich richer. So for me, let's even go back to asset declaration. Like Sudoma said, it's a suggestion. Most of our policies are suggestions, if you want to be sincere.
Information.
So, like I said, how many times have we come out, even the media, to say, okay, let's analyze this thing. When this guy got into office, this is the asset that he declared. Now that it's out of order, this is the asset that he currently has. And I mean, we also know there are loopholes to this thing where you use somebody else to create something and all of that. Because at the end of the day, if you take money from people and you're not able to make sure that this money, they can feel the development, they can see it in the healthcare system, they can see it in the educational system, they can see it in power, they can see what the money can do, what the money is doing.
In a tangible way.
I mean, I'm driving through Abuja right now. I mean, I've been there most of my life, but I'm driving through Abuja and I'm proud of the fact that I'm paying tax because the road is clean.
So Wike is working.
Without doubt.
When you do go into government, you get an asset declaration form which you must fill within a certain timeline. And as you're winding down, they give you that again, which you must fill. So the information is there. I haven't said everybody. Some people don't feel when they are going and there's a gap. It is there that they haven't filled. All information is there.
Some animals are more equal than the others. A quote from George Orwell's Animal Farm, which passes a challenge of accountability to us. Except we hold our leaders accountable, the democracy we speak of is merely a farce. So join us again, same time, next week, as we continue to play our part in nation building. Till then, it's goodbye from all of us.
Goodbye.